Introduction? Fellow Toastmasters, our next speaker tonight spent his early 20s backpacking through the Pacific Northwest, sleeping on random people's lawns, getting lost in the forest. He did all this while he was in college. He was searching for something larger than life, answers to life's greatest mysteries, and today he's going to teach you how to search for a job. Please welcome Leo Meza to the stage with his speech, Job Hunting 101, Leo Meza. Leo Meza, Job Hunting 101.
Thank you so much, Richard, for that introduction. Fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guest. I think we've all heard a phrase that sounds similar to, man, the job market is tough right now. Whether it's in a movie or your neighbor said it, I believe we all agree on this, right? Can we all raise our hand on this? Today, I want to explain how job hunting can be turned into an advantage where many are struggling. How you can use this to put you ahead of the curve. So you could stick out from the crowd. There's a saying that we've all heard. It's don't hate the player, hate the game. I want you to know that job hunting isn't about the job at all. If you know the basics of how the game works, you can hack it. You can learn how to play it. You're not playing against other people, you're playing the game. Because a lot of people don't know this, but the job that you're going to be doing and job hunting, they are two different skills. They say that looking for a job is a full-time job because it's different, right? Applying and all of this. Now, I'm a huge nerd about this. I'm not kidding. If you think you have a good resume, email it to me right now. Okay, no, okay. Just please email it to me. I love reading resumes because if you think it's good, I want to know why you think it's good, and I want to learn that so I can put it in my resume. And whenever I help friends or family or clients that I'm working with, I can put it in their resume too. This is something that I'm really passionate about. It's a little bit nerdy, but as a writer, I love writing a good resume. I want to break this up into three parts. There's the search, there's the resume, and then there's the interview. To begin, the search. Now, when I was 15, about 15, I was talking to a man. He was middle-aged, and he told me a story. He said that when he was a kid, you could go into any store, any office, any company with a resume, and you say, "Hey, can you give me a job?" And more often than not, if you had a good attitude and you brought a resume, you could get an interview. This could be a summer job at an ice cream shop. This could be a temp job in an office. You could at least start a conversation. Now, I don't know why that story has stuck with me all these years later, but it's something that I've used to get every job that I've ever had. And I don't think it's because it's a bad strategy or a good strategy. I just think it's because it's something that nobody sees anymore, right? Everybody always applies online. So let's say that you're a boss. You have 1,000 applications online, but two people come into the store and they drop off their resume. Are you going to give those two people an interview? I would. Showing up physically, it's a sign of initiative. Showing up means that you are someone that does not wait for a response. You're going and you're getting what you want. You want that job, you're there. That's the person who's going to show up to work every day, not the person who's going to text you online saying, I could, that it just leaves an impression that you don't see anymore. And I think it's a very old-fashioned but timeless technique. That's dedication, and that's who a boss wants as an employee. There was one time I was 19. I did not have a degree at this time. The only job experience I had was working at Del Taco as a cashier. And I saw a job posting online for a startup company as an intern working at a 3D metal printing workshop. And I thought that sounded pretty cool. Googled them. They were maybe 10 minutes away from me. I just thought, okay, 10 minutes, I could drive there. Went there with my resume and I just went, "Hello, my name is Leo Mesa. Came to drop off my resume. I wanted to introduce myself, put a face to a name, see if I could say hi to somebody." The office manager, he looked at me, he like, "Okay." And immediately he sat me down and he started interviewing me. Immediately. Question number one, what do you know about 3D metal printing? I answered nothing. He went, "Okay, thanks for coming." And then I was on my way. I did not get that job. That's the thing. You don't always get them, but I got the interview. I succeeded there. And if I had known then what I know now about interviewing, I would have gotten that job too, despite knowing nothing. There's a saying, 80% of success is showing up. Don't underestimate the value that can have. The search for a job, it's changed a lot since the beginning of the internet. And it's changed a lot since the beginning of social media because now there are maybe three main companies to find a job. Can anybody guess what they are? Can you unmute yourselves? And three main companies to find a job. What do you guys think they are?
Indeed, Monster.
Indeed, Monster. Okay.
Get recruiting.
ZipRecruiter. One more that I'm looking for.
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. That's right. Yeah, those basically all of the jobs that they're on there. Now, this has made job hunting easier because there's a lot of options, but it's also made it more complicated. Let me explain. It becomes easier because suddenly you have all of the jobs in the world at your fingertips. I was looking on ZipRecruiter the other day. I applied for a job to be the president of Australia. Now, I'm knocking on wood. I haven't heard back yet, but we'll see, you know? You can customize the way you want to look for a job by online, in-person, hybrid, salary, distance, office reviews, keywords. It goes on and on and on. The perfect job is out there for you to find. But it becomes more complicated because as humans, we hate the idea of making a decision. Making a decision at its core means taking a risk. And taking a risk means risking danger. There are too many choices. I was on ZipRecruiter the other day doing research for this. I looked up the word writer. I got 150 results without changing any of the settings. Now, multiply that times three. Remember, there are three, maybe four companies. That's 450 jobs. Are you going to apply for 450 jobs? No, right? That's too many. It's possible that you'll hear back from them, but I kind of think it's a waste of time. You can't just apply to every job and see what comes back. You want one job, not 450. What I would tell you to do is you apply for one job that looks good to you and you pursue it like it's the only job in the world. If that doesn't work, move on to the next one. See where I'm at in my notes. Right now, I work 3 miles from my job because a commute time is very important to me. So I can ride my bike to work. It's a 5-minute drive. I like it. So you have to ask yourself what you want. 450 jobs, ride my bike to work. Okay, let's say that you want a job in healthcare. Let's say you have a degree in healthcare. Let's say you don't have a degree in healthcare, but that's where you want to work. How can we make this happen? First, you have to remember healthcare is an industry, and this is for everything. It's an industry. Healthcare includes, let's see, it includes accounting, insurance, hospitality, culinary arts, even traditional arts, administrative, janitorial, maintenance, infrastructure, security, medicine, IT, cybersecurity. You are not necessarily applying for a job, for a healthcare job. You're applying for a job in healthcare. Do you think that you wouldn't be able to land any of those jobs? You probably could. This may be a little unrealistic, but bear with me. I also don't want to sound mean to any career path that anybody has taken. But let's say you apply to be a janitor at a hospital and you want to become a doctor. A lot of hospitals, they offer tuition reimbursement. Now, I know that's it. Medicine is easily a 10-year journey, but the opportunity is there. That goes back to you. How dedicated are you to becoming this doctor? It's a path. I'm not saying it's the correct path. I'm not saying it's the best path. I'm saying that it's a path. Now, I once had by the way, I once had a man who he would change my trash every day when I worked in an office. And I would talk to him. We were pretty good friends. About a month before I left the office, I was talking to him. It turned out that he owned his own janitorial company. This is a man who owned 2 houses. He regularly went to World Cup games, and all he did was clean my office about 3 times a week. Like the opportunities are there. You can create them, you can look for them. Okay, let's say that you have a job at a law firm as a receptionist or a secretary, but you want to be a lawyer. Now, we have a lawyer on our Zoom call right now, right? Rule number 1 in law, don't ask a question that you don't know the answer to, right, Evan? Please don't answer that. Now, Evan, please answer my next question truthfully or risk committing perjury. I want the jury to take notice on this, please. You once told me a good secretary is worth more than any paralegal. Do you still believe this?
Yes, actually, it's a good secretary is worth more than a good first year attorney.
Oh, I see.
And yes,
No further questions. Okay, if you are a secretary and you learn how to do your job so well to the point where lawyers are regularly relying on you, what do you think that they'll say if you ask them if you can get tuition assistance through law school? Do you think they'll say yes or no? Evan, actually, I don't know the answer to this question, but can you give me your thoughts on this?
probably depends how much the tuition is. If it's like 200,000, maybe not. If it's, 30, 40,000, maybe you've got a chance.
I see. Thank you. I mean, that's not a no, and that's the only thing that's important. Like the opportunities are there, you can create them for yourself. It takes work, but they are there. Now, I want to take you to resume writing. Resume writing, thank you, Evan, by the way. Now, resume writing, it's the easiest thing to get wrong. When I talk to people about their resume, they usually tell me, I didn't really do anything. You always do something when you're at a job every single day. You have to believe that because it's true, and employers want to know that. So let me show you what a good resume looks like. You don't want white space on your resume. You want that line filled to the very end, and you want it to be filled with information, not fat. You want to keep your resume simple, black and white. You don't want it to be super fancy because unless you're creative, you work in the creative field. Because if you have colors in your resume, I guarantee you the ink is going to run out the day that you need it. Okay, so when you're writing the lines on the resume, number one, you want to quantify your work. If you worked as an Amazon driver, you say, I delivered 200 shipments every shift, because that puts a number in your boss's head. Oh, 200, that's a lot. Like this guy, what is he, driving a Hot Wheels car, you know? You say, I drove 20 miles every shift, or so 100 miles a week. That gives you an idea, right? For my job, I worked a lot in imports. So when I was writing my description, I put that I managed 800 shipments within a 6 month span. Do you see how that, like, oh, he did a lot of stuff while he was there during this amount of time? Is there, did she clean up after us? What is, excuse me, if we are, can I please draw attention back to our test story about a spending. Oh, I see. Thank you, Richard. I will follow up on that message later. Just wanted to make sure there were no interruptions as per my speech. Your day to day. Okay, so imports. Number two, you want to describe your day to day job. Did you work with any programs? Did you work with Excel? Did you speak more than one language? English, Spanish, German, Japanese, Chinese? Did you work with people or mainly via Zoom and emails? Did you, let's see what there is. Mainly via Zoom and email. Did you work in groups? What was your product? Who was your client? Where is the profit? You want to describe all of this in your resume. Let's see. You could put number three. You could put the craziest part of your resume in craziest part of your story of your job in the resume. On my resume, this is a true story. I told a story about a container that was dropped at the Houston terminal and nobody wanted to pay for it. And then in parentheses on my resume, I put, I did not pay a dime. This is a story that I like to tell, and it's a true story. People want to hear it because it was crazy. And you're not just putting a crazy story, you're putting how you handled it. Because then when they read that on my job resume, they'll say, hey, what happened here? And then I can tell them, and it just makes me look like the hero. It's very easy. Let me just make sure that there are no interruptions. Okay, number four, you want to mention all the technical terms in your industry and all the programs that you used. If you're a software engineer, you say you worked front end, back end, API creation. If you worked a service job, you say you did washing duty, cooking, mopping, profit counting, schedule making. Use the lingo. People like the lingo. If they don't know, they'll ask you. Number six, you list your qualifications, education, skills. If you completed undergraduate degree or high school, you want to put that on your resume because it shows that you can complete a long-term project. This is what people like about it. Not necessarily the degree, that's good too, but the time length that you dedicated to something to yourself is also important. Number six, this is how you write a resume line. I'm going to break it down for you guys. It's action verb plus what did you do plus why, how did you do it plus What was the result? For example, this is a line from my resume. Oversaw 350 shipments from booking to final in all Incoterms, including FOP, DAP, and FCO, and so on. Oversaw, that's a great action verb. You want to choose something specific that describes what you were doing. It's not just managed, it's not just dealt with, it's not just handled. Choose a really specific word that sounds good. It'll jump out, and you have to do that for all of the lines. Let's see, oversaw 350 shipments, that's the how many. From booking to final billing, that's the how. And then the result, I could have put that I made a profit on them. All right, lastly, let's talk about the interview. The only thing that you have to know about the interview is that it is not an interview. It is a conversation that you're having with somebody else. It's a conversation that you're having with somebody else. Ooh, let me check my notes. This is something that people don't know, but on Indeed and ZipRecruiter, if somebody looks at your resume, you get a notification that says that. As soon as I get that notification, I call the job and I just go, "Hey, what are you doing? Give me a job. I saw online it has a job. Don't lie to me. It's my job. Give it to me. Well, hello, is your phone broken? Also, I came by the office. The doors were closed. Why were they closed? Oh, you're not open at 2 a.m.? Sorry, I'll come by at midnight. Okay, so do I have the job?" No, so I did. You're not gonna get that job, but you want to say something like that. Hello, my name is Leo Meza. I saw that there's a job application online. I wanted to call. I love this job. Let me see if I can come in for an interview. I want to have a conversation with somebody. I'd be happy to be considered. What? You want to offer me a salary of $1 million? Okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm not taking this seriously. Okay, so when you go to an interview, you want to dress nice, bring a resume, and remember that it's a conversation. Toastmasters is perfect for this because of the impromptu speaking. They ask you a question, boom, you have an answer right off the bat. And if you get really good at this conversation, you can genuinely talk about what you like about the industry, what you want to create, what you don't like about it, what you think is beautiful about life. It gets inspirational. There are levels to it if you look for them. So this is an example. If you're applying for a job in software engineering after you graduated from a 4-year degree, you could just say, "Hello, I just graduated and I'm looking for a job as a software engineer. I've worked front-end jobs, projects in my university. I really like design and the aspects of coding that have to do with making it beautiful. There's something I like about making something so stylish. So I want to get into user experience, UX, UI. I'm a very artistic person. They say it's very competitive, but I just graduated from a 4-year degree and I'm planning on doing a master's at some point. So you can know that I'm dedicated to it." And those are just some of the basics that I wanted to share with you. Let me just see if I can recap this without making any mistakes. Job hunting 101. The job market is tough, but you can work it to your advantage. There's the search. Remember, choose one job, pursue it like it's the only job in the world. There's the resume. You want attention to detail, action verb, how you did it, why you did it. Look for the specifics in the story. And there's the interview. Remember, the interview is not an interview, it is a conversation. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster. Oh, I will not be taking questions.